Pope Francis is back at the Vatican this morning. He wrapped up a visit to the Middle East where he called for peace between Israel and the Palestinians. And as Alan Pizzey reports from Jerusalem, the Pope says he's also taking a tough stand against priests who sexually abuse children.
Good morning. The consensus in the Holy Land is that Pope Francis' three-day pilgrimage was a shining success with something in it for everyone. But he made his biggest news on the way home. Speaking to reporters on his plane, Pope Francis said abuse of children was comparable to holding a satanic mass and said there would be zero tolerance towards offenders. He also disclosed that he would soon meet with victims of abuse and that 3 bishops are under investigation by the Vatican for alleged abuse offenses. The 77-year-old pontiff's event-packed pilgrimage seemed to weary him at times. On the way home, he hinted that he would consider following in the footsteps of his predecessor, Benedict XVI, who, he said, opened the door of emeritus popes by retiring. Only God knows if there will be others, Francis said, but the door is open. One of the surprise doors the Pope opened on his trip was an invitation for the Palestinian and Israeli presidents to join him in prayers for peace at the Vatican. The event is tentatively scheduled for next month. But on the plane, Francis made a point of lowering expectations. We are coming just to pray, he said, then everyone goes home. It was his very public and obviously sincere prayers in places of religious and political significance that made the biggest impressions here.
This attempt to try to reach out is, I think, is going to be much applauded, and I think it's much appreciated by the Israeli people.
The Pope's final Mass of the trip, in the room where by Christian tradition Jesus held the Last Supper, displeased Orthodox Jews who worship in David's tomb under the room, but they allowed the service to go off in a suitably dignified manner. The only ones not applauding, it seems, are representatives of abuse victims. A spokesman for their organization called the Pope's pledge to crack down on offenders a nice bit of symbolism that is utterly meaningless. For CBS This Morning, Alan Pizzey, Jerusalem.
Thank you, Alan. You know, this was fascinating to see what the Pope did in Israel. And then, you know, he spoke with reporters again on the back of the plane. And as Alan just pointed out, he said that 3 bishops are under investigation for sexual abuse. He's going to meet with sexual abuse victims next month, although there's some confusion about when that might happen. And then he also opened the door to other future emeritus popes, suggesting he could also resign rather than die in office like Benedict, his predecessor, did.
Just the fact that he's speaking out on issues that most people have been shying away from is really nice to see. He's a different kind of man.
Long time coming.
Yeah.
Long time coming. All right.